talk about our own books. Would you look at this? This book I'm holding in my hand, it's got my name on it. It's got Manny's name on it. We made this. It's called Renowned. It is an anthology of monster of the week, monster hunting, sci-fi fantasy stories in an interconnected universe in a land called Phyrexia. Think you're really gonna dig this? We got great monsters, guys with swords and guns and crazy cool stuff. I like it. I made it. Manny made it. We're proud of it. If you want a copy of this, hit us up. Join our Discord. You can get it from us there because our web store is temporarily down while we're shifting around things on our end, getting the new website up and all of that. We also have Ben Hill on the stream. He has a killer comic that I don't know if he has on his person right now. He does not. He's shaking his head. Again, my copy of your comic is buried in a box somewhere. Time Police. That book rules. Chapter 3 just came out. Check. Is it issue 3, chapter 3?
So chapter 3 is currently coming out on Instagram and Webtoons. So our third page dropped this week. So go check it out. We're actually switching up our Instagram with doing panel by panel displays. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. It's a little bit easier to follow on Instagram in their format.
Hell yeah. Right on, guys. All right. On this podcast, on this stream, on this video, whatever we want to call it, we cover comic books. We've done some long form analysis. Go check out our YouTube channel where we've got some Brubaker books, some Daniel Warren Johnson books, James Herron, Alex Ross. We've covered some greats. Now we're going to cover some also greats, but less legendary in scope, equally talented folks. Minor Threats. This book is great. Give you the brief kind of plot synopsis here is basically it is C-list rogues gallery villains in a fictional world called I don't remember. And basically the equivalent to Batman named Insomniac, his Robin named Kid Dusk is murdered by this universe's Joker, Stickman, and Insomniac, Batman, has gone absolutely crazy. He's hunting down villains in the city on his quest to get Stickman. And so the Justice League, aka the Continuum in this book, is rounding up all the minor villains, trying to keep him safe. So what happens in our book is that a team of some C-listers band together to try to kidnap and kill Insomniac, or no, it's Stickman. I'm doing a terrible job of summarizing this book.
You're doing great.
To murder Stickman before the Continuum and Insomniac does, kind of restore order to things. This book is densely packed, moves lightning fast, great art, filled to the brim with tropes and comic history, little nods to the Silver Age and even the grittier 80s stuff, and lots of kind of jokes about DC comics of the era, and it's great. I had a good time with this book. What did y'all think?
Yeah, I had a good time too. I was pleasantly surprised with Patton Oswalt's little dive into comics. I don't know, is this his first dive into comics, or what has he
he's
done?
done a few.
He's done a few? Okay. That was the first one I've read that I know about.
Yeah. I know he actually his most famous recent thing is that he did the MODOK series on Hulu. He was the showrunner and then was the voice of MODOK for Marvel. But they are doing volume 2 of this book. I just saw while I was
looking this up when I was looking it up earlier today too. I was like, oh, how about that? So
they've got his TV credits, his movie credits, his video game credits, web series,
but
miscellaneous awards.
I'd be interested to see what the, how him and Jordan Blum work together. Just to see how I would like to see how they just bounce ideas off of each other when they're writing this book, and how they just form that script. And then there's Scott Hepburn, who's got fantastic art in here. I feel like he's kind of almost gearing towards a little bit of James Herron, just with the design of the shadows and stuff. And for some reason I'm feeling like Frank Quietly a little bit. I don't know
A
about
little bit of that. Definitely
yeah.
some James Stocco in there.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Yeah, so
um,
very good. And then Ian Herring doing the colors, which were fantastic. And Nate Picos with the
really good.
lettering. If you don't know Nate Picos and you're a comics creator, go out and get his lettering book and level up your lettering game, because he's also got a website called Blambot that have all sorts of fantastic fonts you can throw into your books. So
So real quickly, MODOK Head Games was the Marvel series that I guess coincided with the TV show that he wrote again with Jordan Bloom. He also did a book for Godless Comics called Skycake. He did a book with Dark Horse called Better Days and Other Stories. With Dark Horse, he also did a Serenity comic related to the Firefly universe. He did a Bart Simpson Treehouse of Horror comic. He also did a The Goon Noir comic with Dark Horse, and then
The Goon.
did JLA
Oh my gosh.
Welcome to the Working Week with DC Comics.
Wow.
So those are at least what's got on Wikipedia. I mean, I love Patton Oswalt's comedy. He's hilarious in any TV show or movie that he pops up in. I mean, he's in literally everything. He's so
Parks
funny.
and Rec
I mean,
for
his
that
stand-up
one
special.
bit.
Oh, that Parks and Rec episode of his is so funny.
When he pretty much just nails what Marvel is gonna do, like as a bit.
Yeah,
pretty much.
But Ben, what are your initial thoughts, at least, on Minor Threats?
Yeah, so I'm knew Patton Oswalt from comedy and everything. The knowing that he had a co-writer, that's kind of what they do for people that aren't initially just comic book writers. You pair them up with someone that is gaining experience or that has experience. And I just thought there was just great chemistry between the two of them. This came, Kev, as one of your recommendations, I believe, saying like we should cover Minor Threats. I love that it's a departure. Once again, we're going into, kind of new creative territory. We're not using or utilizing a known and established universe. So it was a 4-issue series, you said, and they have a lot of lifting to do to be able to create this world and characters that feel like they live and breathe in it. I think they do an amazing job from the writing standpoint. Manny, you brought up Scott's art. As soon as I started looking through these pages, I'm like, holy crap. I need to find out what this guy has done outside of Minor Threat. Because his art style is so fun, so playful, but he kind of balances that bridge. You brought up James Herron. There's some things in here that like when he's doing the big beefy guys, there's blocking and shading that feels Herron-esque. If you're showing this to kids, there's a lot of blood, a lot of entrails and viscera, and especially with some of the entrail stuff, I'm like, wow, this feels so much like James Herron.
Right. This splash with forget his name, like Birdman or something like that, who's like, or Reptilian is this character's name, on the table, and they do those close-ups of his legs just like smashed in, and like his face getting punched in with all the wounds and everything. This just screams James Herron worship in the best way.
Yeah, and there's a character I want to call out. There's a character I want to call out as we go through here that I got total James Herron vibes, but like Scott was able to make it his own. By far my favorite minor character that does not get enough screen time or page time, if you will. And there's a sketch in the back of the trade, like that shows the initial concept for a character called War Pig. I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, give that thing its own spinoff. Like I want to see a War Pig mini.
It's Kill Pig is his name.
Kill Pig. That's it. I just flipped to it too, and I closed the book. But you brought up Ian Herring's colors. I mean, once again, setting a world apart by being able to use just the diversity of color. And there's one part of the book where they go into this weird like time bubble.
The time warp, dude. That shit is so good.
Good. And then, I mean, Manny, you've been singing the praises of Nate Pico. So from a creative team, this is amazing.
It's a fantastic team. Yep, for
if
sure.
if you like this book, if you know this book, I want to encourage everybody. Kev and Manny and I went to a comic shop this weekend. We actually bought the first 2 issues of the alternates. Apparently, I did not know this until I did some research. Apparently, this is additional like spin-offs of Minor Threats. So
wow.
the alternates lives in the Minor Threats universe. So if you guys haven't read it, hopefully
No,
I didn't.
I actually put my issues back on the shelf because I was buying like $100 worth of comics.
Same. I did the same thing. Yeah.
But I'll get them in my pull box.
There you go. But yeah, a lot of the creative team comes back for the alternates as well. So if you're excited about that, I think the artists change, but same writers, same colorists, same letters. So, but yeah, I think we should get into it. Talk about some of the characters and your guys' thoughts on the story.
One of my favorite things, I listened to a few interviews with Patton and Jordan, and which reminds me, that kind of tacks on to what you were saying earlier, Ben. Their workflow was very much like Patton had all of the ideas and like the structure, and I'm sure he wrote a lot of the dialogue, and then it was kind of Jordan's job to like fit it into into these 4 issues, because as we talk about week over week, is like page economy is so important, and like that's something you can only learn by writing lots and lots of comics, and like I'm not even there yet, but the more and more I write and read comics, the more I'm slowly gaining an understanding of how this is all supposed to go, what feels right rhythmically. But there was a quote that I heard that I really loved, and their kind of perception of like framing their worldview in this book was essentially, what happens to your character of the month, just weirdo C-list villains like Tilt Man, right? Just like these guys that they created gimmick first and character later. What happens to those guys when all of a sudden in the 80s Frank Miller starts writing comics? They're just like, oh my god, did Joker just shoot that guy? Like, holy shit. Like what happens in the world when when the actual landscape changes? You have Alan Moore and Frank Miller writing things. Like, there's no room for those weirdo Silver Age guys. And so that's very much like the worldview of the Minor Threats of these D-listers in the bar with no name, which I forget what the actual name of the bar is in this book. I don't even know if they gave it a name.
Yeah, and I think they talk about it because we've got the main character that we follow, losing everybody's name, and I'm trying to find it on the page. Playtime. That was it.
Playtime.
Playtime was her supervillain name. She was the daughter of a supervillain named Toy Queen. Although Playtime does have powers, which I think is cool. The mom didn't have powers. They don't go into too much detail about how, or was her dad a supervillain or anything like that. But I love Playtime. The one thing that I wanted to ask Manny, once again, we go into an entirely original universe, and there's so many characters that have to be created to fit in this. And you don't just get it from the villain perspective, you get it from the hero perspective as well. What are your thoughts? I think they're all unique, they all have personality. To me, it just felt like Scott got to have fun and build a world, and I think he did an amazing job. But thoughts on that?
Yeah, it was fun. It was good to see, like, he's definitely having fun in those bar scenes and just like filling up the tables and stuff, and like introducing these characters as they
I love this prison scene where she's just this one panel, all the characters.
But what was I saying?
He's filling up the bar.
Yeah, it's good. Lost my train
sorry
of
to
thought.
cut you off. No, but Ben, I think I know what you were getting at. There's like, in the backgrounds of scenes, like there's like giant plants like overgrowing on buildings, like in a poison ivy sort of analog situation, and like alien guts and viscera, and like there's like a whole dead kaiju carcass that just is a neighborhood like that they just like built on top of basically. Just like kind of like really creatively thinking about like what happens in a city where superheroes and villains have just like devastated it over and over again, but you don't really have like that reset going on. You don't have like Marvel's damage control or whatever, like correcting everything in the background and resetting things back to zero. It's like, nope, sometimes a kaiju just dies and no one cleans it up.
It's kind of like The Boys, but if there were also kaiju in The Boys, you know, like you have this like kind of corrupt world going on where the heroes are heroes, but you know, only when they need to be, I guess, or only when they feel like it. And then they just leave a giant freaking kaiju carcass in the middle of the city, and that's just like the shitty town, basically. Thought that was interesting. That was kind of funny too.
I just, to your point, Kev, there's so many characters that pop in and out, and I want to know more about their story, and I just keep thinking, how I can't wait. But, you know, anything from Scalpel, who is the doctor, the superpowered doctor to the super villains, right? It's all hush hush under the table. And, oh my gosh, but when they start showing her powers, and I think it's 2, maybe 3 scenes that show, and it's fantastic because it's almost this X-ray of the person, and then what she's seeing is actually illustrated in letters in the inside of the body. So their organs or muscles.
That's one of my favorites. Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's so good. But then Pigeon Pete, the guy that he doesn't talk to pigeons, but he can understand them.
Listens. This is what he
listens. So freaking ridiculous. Brain Tease, who's kind of our mastermind or whatever you want to call him. He can sort things out. Like those are the ones that we know about. Gosh, what's the big snake guy who's?
I think it's Snake Eater. Is that what it's called? Or
yeah, I think so. And you find out it's actually his partner, like his life partner, that he brings into and throws on one of the tables, and unfortunately he dies. Like I don't think he makes it.
Reptilian does not make it.
But oh my gosh, just they casually show in the bar a guy named Night Pirate who is smoking, has this jacket full of medals, and wears like this what would you like, a mountaineer, or maybe it's a drill sergeant,
like the state trooper hat
with the onk on it. And I'm like, I want to know about that, dude. There's so much in this. And then you find like the Searcher, who is the female Superman, and dude, there's so much just conceptually that's going on. And then you had the prison panel up, and once again, it's just, it kind of feels like, you know, have at it. Here's a world full of weird, superpowered beings and cosmic beings and you know, humanoids. Like, just go wild. And Scott does not disappoint. There's not a single panel in here where I'm like, wow, that feels weird or not, or out of place.
There's one character design, I'm looking at it right now. It's like a steampunk Cable, basically. When
oh my gosh, yes.
When the Insomniac dude comes in and he's like holding his little Robin guy, and then he's got his like, the steampunk Cable's got his steampunk giant gun pointed at him. It's fantastic. Like,
oh, give me the name. The name is even better. What's the name?
What's the name?
He doesn't last long.
Oh, I don't even know.
Yes, he's like,
I have no idea.
Dang it. Maybe it's in the back.
Maybe it's in the back. Yeah, I don't see it in the.
Oh no! It's Pigeon Pete says it in the next page. He goes, "Sweet baby Jesus, the gentleman game warden ain't walking away from that. The gentleman game warden." I mean, it's fantastic. So good. But dude, I agree. That design is gorgeous, and you get
You get 2
what? You
pages
get
of
like
them, barely
4 panels.
2 pages. Yeah.
Yeah, I love, yeah, because I know that was very much like a part of their process, was like writing these things out and then just letting Scott go crazy. And then so much so that they were peppering in shit. Like one thing that I know that they particularly loved, and I don't remember the page where it's at, but he's in the back matter with the fly guy who's just like a fly with like a leather jacket and like legs, and his name is Shit Eater.
Yeah.
They were like, we got to do a book about that guy. Like that was how they were kind of like rolling. Oh, Night Pirates, apparently his original name was Major Mummy.
Major
Ah,
Mummy.
I like Major Mummy. Major Mummy was
Yeah.
better.
I
But
love their like Captain America analog, US Eagle. He was a lot of fun.
yeah.
Um, that
Which
whole
I
sequence.
want to know about the thing at the end, because I kind of took that. I felt like they were turning the page as a team, and then at the end, I'm like, oh no, they're still villains. So
Which is like what I love about these characters is that there's no moment in this book where they're really trying to elevate themselves, nor are the writers trying to elevate them to like, and now they're heroes, or like, the villains got to get together and actually be the heroes, like in a Suicide Squad sort of way. Like it is very much like they just want to be able to go back to doing crimes again. Like
Yeah.
is like actually like their goal, because their whole like worldview is like, I just want to do a crime, be able to live off of it for a while, and then do another crime and like live off of that for a while, and like that's just the cycle that their lives are in. And
Yeah, it's just simple folk, really.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, because like, and you even get that in like the superhero comics where like, there's like issues of like Spider-Man where he's facing off with the Rhino, and the Rhino is literally like, hey, I'm just like a hired gun right now, like I'm literally, this is just a job, like what do you need to know, and they just
Yeah.
like don't even care. And like
Right.
that's who these characters are.
Just little mercs running around.
Exactly. Man, one thing I love too, I'm looking back at this like prison page, is that there's all these flashbacks with like her parole officer and the people who are rejecting her for jobs, and I'm just like really struck by the colors, because they like add that like piss yellow and like green tone to everything that's like a memory, but that's also like, I don't know, like the way that they color things to like clearly define them in space and time and era, like certain things almost have that like retro silver agey sort of like shine to them.
Yeah, they're like
And
using all that blank space, like things that are typically white. They're just like, all right, let's do an overlay on that. This is like a different sequence entirely. This is a different moment in time or whatever, and it really feels like an old comic when they do that. And I feel like you can feel the textures or see the textures even more so on those pages. But I'm a big fan of that. Especially like Ed Piskor books and stuff, Jim Rugg, like putting all those newsprint textures in the background, and then they do that with this book. Definitely, it feels good. I love that kind of stuff. I'm a nerd for it. I'm a sucker for it, man.
yeah, this book like definitely feels like it's written by fans for fans, like, but not in like a gatekeepy sort of like exclusive way. It's just like, if you pick up on all these references that you're making, you're gonna have an absolute like delight, just treat fest for yourself while you read this. But like, if you don't know what they're referencing, the story doesn't suffer at all.
right.
Yeah, you don't have to be an art historian or comics historian to read it. So
Right. I mean, the great thing is, if you do know like the tropes of comics, of especially of like the DC universe, you see a lot of overlap between the main villain and the main vigilante in the book. But without that knowledge, I mean, you can definitely understand the main crux of it was the Joker character killing off the Robin. And instead of Batman saying, I'm going to seek justice, he's like, I'm going to kill him. Like, I'm just done being a nice guy. and then anybody that gets in my way is just going to get murked too. So,
Yep.
But I love some of the foreshadowing set up between Playtime and her mom, the Toy Queen, where you see the mom is like, she has her little memorabilia stash of being the supervillain, but there's one thing missing, and she doesn't know where it is. So I love that that's kind of set up as a nice little hint for what could happen in the end.
I also think it's just such a creative gimmick to kind of build the character around, like that superpower to basically take something apart, like take a toy apart and turn it into a weapon. And I love how there's like a little bit of psychoanalysis in that kind of like dripped in, where it's like, like, does she make toys because she didn't get to have a childhood? Like, is that like part of it? Just some weird subconscious thing that makes her turn every toy into some crazy weapon. But then they also have like the bear with the claw that really comes into play at the end of the book. I love that.
Yeah,
Like,
the army men, like the being
that
able
one
to
was so good.
deploy the army men, and just from an artistic perspective, I love some of these things that you get in little glimpses here and there. They do the flashback of when Playtime first ran into Insomniac, and I can't remember this kid something. What's his name?
Kid Dusk.
Kid Dusk. And they captured her, and she's essentially hanging upside down from a lamppost. And so the entire exchange is the panels all inverted. So it's like you're looking at it from her perspective until you see the last panel, and it's her hanging upside down. I mean, I hope he had a blast drawing this, because there's so many things that he got to play with from an artistic perspective that I think, most people are just, I want to do this giant 2-page splash panel with stuff blowing up everywhere. And it's like, no, there's just some really cool visual storytelling that you can do. Every one of the D-list supervillains that we follow kind of get their page or two where they get to show off their powers.
Yeah.
And the first one that we get to see is Brain Tease, where he's kind of putting himself in that space of creating a prison cell and kind of going through what the Stickman, aka the Joker, how he would be formulating this plan to drive Insomniac crazy.
I mean, it's beyond like just like a little moment to shine. Like every single one of these characters in the main troop gets their own issue, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think, I don't know if I'm the only one, but it almost felt like too ambitious at times. Like maintaining the voice in the head with the like dialogue on screen became like a lot to like sift through, and it really like forced me to slow down while I was reading it. This is kind of what I was mentioning before we started recording, Ben, where it was like the pacing in this book is absolutely bananas, and I don't think it like really suffers, but I think that this book could have been just as successful if you gave it 6 issues instead of the 4 like densely packed ones, and they're beefy issues too, but
Right.
like I just think that like with that goal in mind of like every issue's from a different perspective, and we're getting all these interweaving stories between these characters and how they all come to fruition in this one like big job, like it's a lot. But I just keep coming back to this one. It's this whole issue, I loved issue 2 probably the most, because of like their kind of equivalent to the Iceberg Lounge, and like all of the deduction that Brain Tease is doing to get them there and why they should be there, and you get all these great characters inside this, the ritzy club, the trophy room nightclub, which is basically, Iceberg Lounge in this universe.
That was the scene I was talking about, with all those like different characters in the background, and that like giant kaiju head, right? That's the scene you're talking about.
Yeah. It's just like a giant King Kong
Yeah,
skull.
you see so many different characters now, and that's where you see like the steampunk cable guy, like with the giant ass cable shoulder pads and stuff.
Yeah, you've got like Robot from Invincible wearing like a suit and a hat.
Yeah,
And then like this Korg looking guy, just big rock man playing the bouncer. Um, and
like
then
it's just like, what have I not drawn? Let me do that in this.
well, and their way in is what's his name, Snake Eater. I forget what this guy's name is. Snake Stalker. Um,
That's it.
against Kill Pig. I mean, he's
Yeah.
Kill Pig ripping this guy in half is awesome. But then the page, the splash on the other side, that's him suplexing Kill Pig.
Yeah, I was like,
Is
wrestler.
just-
There we go.
Yeah, dude. I mean, yeah, that red color wash just
Uh-huh.
makes that panel stick out so much. And it's like the pacing and timing of it kind of like paralleling with the rest of the story is so
Yeah.
good. Oh
Yeah.
my
Well,
god.
we get so much from again, I think a lot of the books we really focus on story and color and pencils. There's so many different ways to show type in this as well, which Manny goes to all your praise for Nate for everything he does from a typography perspective.
Oh yeah.
There's so much uniqueness that comes in through this, and you get it in the onomatopoeia and the letter work. You get it in the text and the type. Like there's just so much that keeps you engaged,
Yeah.
and gosh, it's awesome.
Even when they're the characters, like we were talking about a second ago, where every issue is a different character, but he's also like using the different colors and stuff for that character's voice. And then towards the end, when you have a few characters talking at the same time, he puts a little their little icon in that little thought bubble or whatever, that little narration bubble, which I think is a nice little touch to know exactly, like, if you forgot, like, this is who's talking right now. We got like whoever's icon in that bubble, so you know, which I think is a really smart move to do. But yeah, just like the lettering, it feels like it fits the whole book. It fits the style of the book too, which is very hard to do. Lettering is definitely like an invisible art form in itself, and I know it's Sean Phillips and Jacob Phillips letter their books as well. And I know Daniel Warren Johnson, he doesn't do all the lettering, but he does like the sound effects or whatever at times.
Yeah, he gets Russ
stuff.
Wooten, who's one of the
Yeah.
other best letterers in the game.
He gets Russ Wooten doing that stuff, which is fantastic. But this is great lettering. This is great typography. So if someone can't read your book, they're not going to read your book. So definitely take notes on Nate and everyone else.
Oh, but man, yeah, so we get to see Kill Pig, which there's no confirmed death for Kill Pig, so I'm still gonna hold out hope for the alternates, which I'm sure is already mostly done. Hopefully we get a Kill Pig cameo in there. But dude, showing Kid Dusk as the bait that draws in the Insomniac, and he just starts tearing everybody down.
Yep.
Like it does show you, if Batman were to just become unhinged, like there's very little that Gotham villains could do to stop him.
Right.
So
yeah, and I love that that's like what when it's revealed the Continuum is doing, is that they're not just like rounding up all the villains for questioning and like arresting them, but they're actually rounding them up to keep them away from Insomniac.
Yeah.
Because he's just gonna kill everyone, like, is the conclusion. And Stickman is just like reveling in the chaos.
do we ever are those little so Insomniac has number one, he's got that like awesome scythe that looks like a question mark, or the eye from Minor Threats or whatever. So I guess there's the callback for Insomniac. It kind of looks like an eye. But there's those little Booster Gold has the little gold thing that always follows him around, and Insomniac has 2 of those that like help him take out bad guys. I don't think they ever named them, but it just shows like, oh yeah, he's a tech bro. He just, builds these things, runs around and beats the tar out of people. It was pretty cool. But yeah, despite all the crew's best efforts to try to find Stickman, they run into some trouble here, and unfortunately, Playtime takes a stray bullet, which gets us to like my just another amazing. So you get more backstory for Scalpel. Yep. We get to see some power sets from Playtime as she's falling, but we eventually get to where Scalpel has to show off her power set. It is so cool and just artistically inventive for how to address this.
I did enjoy the when was it Playtime's falling, and we're looking at all of like the tech that she's got on her toolkit or tool belt or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's like rusted spring, like this is broken, can't use that. Like, so let me just use my little marshmallow pillows, I guess.
Which were cool. My favorite is the leaping spring boots. She's like, no, I'm not wearing them. So it's
like, wearing them. Yeah.
I have this tech.
Yeah, lines tangled for their little paratrooper Pete parachutes.
Marshmallow Mania Party Cannon is a great name for a weapon. And
all the names are just so goofy. I was just like, this is exactly what Kevin would do.
That's high praise. I appreciate that.
Very good.
I just want to take a step back really quick because I was flipping through this page, but how fucking awesome are the maps ahead of every issue?
Oh, right.
Oh, my God.
The maps are fantastic.
They like update as he's going, and I didn't like pick this up until later that it's actually Pigeon Pete's maps.
Right.
Oh,
yeah. Wow. I didn't know that until the end.
Yeah. And just like all of the where is Stickman, and just I'm a big sucker for maps, and just the kaiju head is called the Stomp. Love it. Which just like you get these things, and it's just one page. It's just a simple like thing to add on to these kind of intro pages, but man, it's like it gives you so much like to look forward to, because it's like, look at all this fleshed out world building they've done. I hope they don't stop.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I could live in this world. No, I don't want to me personally live in this world, but my brain could live in this world's stories.
Don't go
I
there.
I would not survive very well.
Same.
Yeah, man, the Scalpel issue is great, and I mean, I just keep flipping back to the full page spread of all the lettered veins and arteries and systems in her. That is just so cool, and the bullet hole with the big light coming out of it.
It's like, all right, we're focusing on the bullet hole, but I see everything else. I see all the other problems, all the other issues. Like, such a cool little page, and everything being lettered like we talked about before. So cool.
I love the big gut on Snake Stalker. That big Columboism gut.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you loop back in the mom. And these flashbacks are actually probably my favorite, where the coloring gets really flattened and goes full Silver Age. Like this panel of her worried in the corner is absolutely incredible. And then like this Catwoman analog, Alley Cat, stabbing Alley Cat in the jugular with a meat thermometer.
Yeah.
But where some people see carnage and violence, I see opportunity. Great line.
Just like, tell everyone, I can fix you up when you're near death. Boom.
Yep.
It's great. I think the next page is probably like, I love the coloring on the background on the next page. It's like, I know it's just like all carpets and stuff, but man, it's just, you don't need to make every single carpet a different color. You know what I mean? You can just be very subtle about it, and it just like pops, and then you got a little statue in the background and everything. Super cool. Really enjoyed that. And the little dude with his little mustache and giant glasses. That's fantastic and hilarious.
Red King. Yeah, I love in that panel too with the rugs is the little bear who's like
Yeah.
carefully watching like, the guy under the desk.
What the fuck?
He's being trapped under there by the
Yeah,
bear, right?
yeah.
And I,
And
I
the
love
little
whenever
toy
they have
car and
these.
stuff.
Yeah.
Toy car with the
Yeah, with the
fucking
rocket
missile on it.
pointed
Yeah.
at him.
The what I love too is typically if you see a big action sequence and Pigeon Pete is there, I always like looking around the page for a pigeon because ultimately, like Scott has added one, right? That's like his power, so it has to be represented on the page. So there's always like random pigeons thrown in the page too.
That's amazing. I didn't catch that. That's
Such a
awesome.
good, yeah, such a good kid. Oh my God, I just noticed this graffiti says Dolly Parton.
I didn't see that.
Like Patton Oswalt. No, well done. I also just love to talk about Scalpel some more and how badass she is. Just the way that this book skewers and kind of satirizes that like gritty turn in comics while also being deeply inspired by gritty pulpy crime comics. Like the archetype of the crime doctor is always so great, like a genius who could make a lot of money doing ethical things but instead decides to be a mob doctor or whatever it is. Like, what a fun character, what a just out there thing.
It's like, yeah, my dad was a little bitch, so I did it. I did this instead, or whatever.
Yeah, basically, like I could figure out how to make money off this. There's got to be a way to make money off of this.
Yeah, right.
It shows that she's willing to put away all emotion too, because the guy that ends up killing her dad comes back when he's all banged up, and she actually like treats him as well. So I mean, she really is like, nope, doesn't matter. It's all for the money. Like I'll guard my emotions and do the job because it'll pay.
Yeah.
So, but dude, we're getting so close to another one of my favorite parts was just the time bubble, which is so cool. We get this so much fun in this time bubble thing.
Yeah, that's like as I was reading the time bubble sequence, like had me like actually saying out loud, like, "Oh my God, what the hell? This is rad!" Like as I'm reading it alone in a room by myself.
Yeah, there's a lot of like really cool. I love the shape language, like the silhouettes of the characters and stuff in that like warp. Like there's a zombie looking characters and stuff on one page.
Oh yeah,
and just like you can tell what they are from far away. You know what I mean? Like you can tell just from the silhouette like what those characters are. I'm gonna try and find it. Yeah, they're like just dripping and everything. Yeah, it's the whole team just like going through these different dimensions kind of thing.
Oh my God, like the sketched out like page that they're running on top of was such a cool detail.
I was looking at
the
that.
stack of pages, the stack of comic pages with gosh, I always again the character names.
The Searcher, right?
The Searcher. Yeah, you see the group of villains running across the pages, and the Searcher is like in each one of the panels, just trying to get closer and closer. It's so cool.
Yeah. What up, John?
And also like the idea that in the time warp you'll like confront your own mortality, because like there's like the sequence where she sees her own grave.
Yeah.
And her mom is like mourning her, and there's like a skeleton, like one of them is a skeleton in the background.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I mean, again, we talk about page economy. That's just done in a 2-page spread, basically. They enter they enter into the zone, and then you just get that full sequence. The Searcher as a giant like mech, and then there's like kaijus and dinosaurs. And
dude, I was looking at that mech too, and it's just like so it would work as a toy. All the joints and stuff, and the articulation and everything. I was like, I would definitely buy that. You know what I mean?
I mean,
did you get like Superman Red Sun vibes from that panel? Because the way that everything's colored and the flags that are sticking out of the mech almost look like SS flags, and like the torn up American flag in this post-apocalyptic scene with all these bodies. I was like, oh my gosh, I'd love to know if that was just a tribute to like, I love Red Sun. This is gonna be my tribute to that.
I love the little baby sequence too, where she's just like trying to pick everyone up, and then they're getting sucked into the portal. And it's great.
Their Muppet Babies version.
No, it's the X Babies. That was
Yeah.
one of the things that Marvel did for a while. Like, oh, what's cute and fun? Let's do baby versions of it.
Oh, I did not even know that. I mean, there was a time where we got baby versions of a lot of things. There was like the Looney
Scotty
Tunes
Young.
babies,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
And-
that's true. That's true. I forgot about that.
and then Muppet Babies was a big animated show for a while.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Although
They did Scooby
Were the
Doo as
Looney-
young kids too.
Yeah.
were the Looney Tunes babies, or were they the Tiny Toons, which were like the
Yeah,
Just
you're right.
the-
You're right.
school age version?
Well, you know,
I
either
love
way.
Tiny Toons. So
I also like at the bottom of the underneath the mech, like that's like one of the most James Heron drawings in the book as well. Like this just reminds me of Ultra Mega and the way these fists look and this giant head peeking out over
Right.
the wall.
Yeah.
yeah.
Which, by the way, total aside, James Heron has confirmed that more Ultra Mega is coming out this year.
When did he say this?
Yeah.
It was on his Instagram. Someone commented like, "Were we getting more Ultra Mega?" And he was like, "Later this year."
Oh, thank God. Okay.
Amazing.
Oh, thank
So,
God.
I know, got to put that on my poll.
Yeah.
God. The Searcher. Great. I mean, this book, great. Red King. Hysterical. The fact that they're just in the bathroom and they're just gonna beat the shit out of him in the bathroom.
And then he just like the snake dude just blocks the way. It's like this occupied or whatever it is. It's just
I
a
love the
scene,
shot of
man.
them. Yeah, they hear him screaming in the bathroom, and it just cuts to the shot of them eating burgers and fries and onion rings.
And everyone in the place realizing there's something going down.
Yeah.
What is the name of the place? Bite Burger. Yeah.
White burger. Yeah.
In the crapper of a choke and puke.
Yeah, the name of that was just like what?
All the graffiti on the stalls. Oh, there you go. There is a call out to the bug, the giant fly, on one of the stall railings. It just says "shit eater" on the side.
Oh my God! Good catch. That's so funny. PCs with the little searcher icon there.
Yeah.
That's great. And then King Blum on the right hand side, a little Jordan Blum reference.
Yep.
I mean, like, one thing that Manny and I like talked about a lot when building out Renowned and stuff, and like how to tell these stories, and like how to, because we did all the work to do the world building on the back end, like doing character designs and drawing a map, and I'm writing all these vast entries of lore to kind of give us this like Wikipedia to like work from. But
Right.
like, how do you tell a story and show enough of the world to make it interesting without over explaining every aspect of it? It's like one of the hardest parts, I think, of like telling a fantasy story or just like a story that takes place in its own unique world. And like, I think that this is a great kind of example case study. I mean, granted, they're using a lot of the assumptions you may already have about superheroes to fully, embrace what's going on and get a full understanding. But I mean, I think that that's a valid take in all fantasy world building. Like, most high fantasy is going to assume that you've read like Lord of the Rings or are familiar and know what elves and dwarves and magic is, right? Like,
Yeah.
or you understand D&D and like, that kind of stuff. Like, we use these archetypes to kind of work off of. It's just this one happens to work very well because it's just like such a ripe for the picking source material. I mean, how often do we get new superhero IPs in their own fantasy worlds? Like, it's like basically this, Radiant Black, and Invincible, that come to mind.
I mean, I think there are a lot out there where
Yeah.
they just don't get the push, right?
Yeah.
They don't get the company that's willing to jump behind a property like this and really showcase it.
Yeah. We talked about this a lot with the Headlopper episode too. Like, we
Yeah.
just like How do you deliver just enough of that information for it to be readable, engaging, probe a lot of questions in the minds of readers, but also give them enough to go, I know what already happened here,
Right.
without it making feel fully solved. And again, a lot of this I think also falls just on Scott. Just Scott Hepburn drawing in all these wonderful details that make you go, wait, what's that? Who's that? I want to know about that guy, you know?
Dude, we are so close. We finally run into Stickman here.
Yeah.
Which it honestly
Wait.
took me a while to like understand that he was supposed to be a Joker analog, like at first. Like
Right.
aside from like the Death in the Family kind of like tie-in, I was like Stickman. Like my dumb brain was like, is that supposed to be like Stiltman or like what? Like I didn't get it until we started to see glimpses of him throughout the book, and then once we had this whole like monologue about chaos and the world order changing and all of that, and like the eras shifting. I was like, oh, okay, this is like a Joker speech. I got it.
And also, like,
See, I got the tones, but the costume took me forever to figure out. I was so dumb with that. Like, he's called Stickman. I don't get it. Typically, it relates to the costume until there's one panel that shows him just walking towards the camera from a distance because he's wearing this all-black suit with very simple lines. And I'm like, oh, I get it. He's a legitimate Stickman. Okay, I'm so done.
There's also that one Batman book. I forget what it is, but it's like the Joker has sewed his face back on to his body, kind of thing.
Oh yeah,
that was in New 52, right?
Yeah. Scott Snyder. Is that who did that?
Snyder was doing it.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was Death of the Family, not Death in the Family, but Death of the Family, I believe, where he's essentially haunting all the Batman family. And yeah, he cut his face off to like leave it behind to make everybody think he was dead, and then like the face goes missing, and he's like
puts it back
kind of stapled it back on.
Yeah.
Which such a like when you talk about twisted, insane Jokers, so good. And Greg Capullo doing the artwork at the time.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, former Spawn guy.
Yeah.
So,
What was I don't know. It was in Detective Comics in the New 52. There was that villain that was like, what was his name? It wasn't Puppet Master. It might have been, but basically like he was killing people and chopping them up and then like turning all of their pieces into new bodies. Like, and like these people had like their faces stitched together looking all crazy. It might be called Puppet Master.
I think
was it
Master, but
Dr. Pig? Or
No, Dr. Pig is similar, but not who I'm thinking about. It's I'll have to look it up. Yeah, great. I mean, the New 52 Detective Comics really went for some really dark swings that I was all about. I'm one of the few people I feel that actually loves New 52 Comics.
I think they did some good stuff, and then they did the Dawn of and
It was Rebirth after that.
yeah.
Which a lot of people really like Rebirth. There's some good stuff. Green Lantern was good in Rebirth.
Dude, there's something else just from a stylistic standpoint. We're so close to the end though, so I'll bring up this other thought I have. Just having fun with the artwork and themes that are going on. But yeah, the final showdown, and you go to the Dream Cavern, and so we get to see like the Insomniac's Bat Cave coming up.
Yeah, that's
with some backstory
so
from Pigeon Pete. Oh, we get to see the fully fleshed out map as well, showing the Stickman's hideout. But now there's like blood splatters and everything all over it, showing that like stuff's gone a little crazy. Just love those details. Oh my gosh. It's one thing to add like a post-it note to say, here's the Stickman's hideout, but just thinking, oh, we've punched people, we've been punched, so the tears, the rip.
Yeah, it's great. Is there a dinosaur somewhere in this cave?
There is.
Cave.
Man,
It's
I love what is it called? The Dream Cavern.
The Dream Cavern. Yeah.
Well, there's like a kaiju, like it's like an octopus kaiju
Yeah.
in a giant jar,
Yeah.
like the Shark Tank.
All the hot
And I
rods
think
and stuff.
there was did they put the coin in too? Can't remember. 'Cause there's like the giant penny from the Batcave, the Two-Face penny.
Yeah. Trying to see if there's more. Another page with it.
It does have like Stickman. I think we see more of the like very aggressive, very evil side of him. Like, we're gonna put nanobombs in your brain, and we're gonna put explosives on you, and you're gonna go blow up the cavern. Blah 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 blah. So they come over and they somehow what's the guy's name that can teleport?
Oh.
Sideswipe.
Sideswipe.
Yeah.
He's like Mirror Master, basically.
Yes.
I figured out the name of the villain I was thinking of. It was Dollmaker from New 52.
Dollmaker.
He's the guy who cut off Joker's face and sewed it back on. But he also was doing that with other people.
Got you.
It was horrifying. I remember I read that. I was like, whoa, Batman's going all in. Like, Detective Comics is going crazy.
But I feel like that was definitely like they have to be referencing that with Stickman in this book because his head and his face is the only thing that's like skin besides his hands. But
yeah, what is that? Is that just burnt skin?
I assume. I'm gonna go for burnt skin.
Yeah. I assume so too, but it sticks with the motif, right? He's got the white face, which matches the white line, like on his costume.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, well, and just the convenient that you get the little stripe here on the chin too, that leads to just the white circle.
Oh,
So they don't cover it. Again, it's once again, it's Scott, in my opinion, just thinking, we're not going to just do a black hood or something. Like, so let's give them something that gets people guessing. So I think it really worked. I took it the same, like either some kind of flesh bacteria or just burned in some kind of fire.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell if it was like a rock thing. I was like, is he like covered in rocks? Is he like a thing? What's going on? What's this all about?
You would think that. You would think that until the end of the book, and then you find out that the skull's just a skull.
That's true. Man, how good is when Pigeon Pete is talking about like his backstory and just the betrayal.
Right.
This panel here with the guy with the Fabergé egg just crammed into his brain matter is so awesome. And the sign says free to a good owner. Oh my god.
Which makes me wonder, like, was that Stickman that did that, and so it just kind of turned Pete off? Like, that was the part I wasn't kind of putting two and two together. I felt like there was something missing there.
What was the quote about the villains in this where it's just like they're like, it might have been in the beginning of the book, but essentially like this wasn't about crime, or this wasn't about, like, it was just hurting people, right?
Yeah.
These guys are part of the new crop. Pulling jobs is only half the fun. The other half is inflicting pain on others, which is like a great setup for what we see later on to kind of validate that mission statement of sorts.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, like mentioned earlier, like when Frank Miller starts writing your comics, how do you in the book react to what's going on? Like,
right.
Which this is just an aside, but it made me think of this. Like the idea of like self-awareness in a comic book. One of the plots that Alex Ross was trying to work into his ongoing Fantastic Four that he was pitching to Marvel was that Mr. Fantastic would become aware that there was a force dictating his life and his future, like in like all the circumstances around him, like that. Not necessarily that he'd be aware that he was in a comic book, but he'd be aware that someone was creating this like for him, because after a century of like your family getting hurt over and over again, and these world-ending events happening over and over again. Like the smartest man in the universe eventually begins to put it together that maybe something is by design here.
Yeah.
That this is happening over and over again, which I think is just one of the coolest ideas I've ever heard about a comic book. And
I mean, he's the smartest
I
man in the
hope that
world, right?
happens.
So
Yeah, Reed Richards.
yeah, makes sense.
But man, and Ben, we were talking about this before the stream started, but we're kind of getting to that portion of the book where, you know, one of you has betrayed the others, and it's a whole, you know, sort of misdirect to make
Right.
the job feel like it's gone wrong. And this kind of didn't sit well with you. But and now that we're talking about it and talking it through, do you still hold that opinion?
I mean, if it turned out to all be a fraud or a fake by the team, I think it would resonate more with kind of the themes that we've come across in the book. Like we were talking about the fact that Patton and Jordan, they kind of take all these tropes and turn them on their head, right?
Yeah.
You have villains that live by a code, and you know most of the time villains are just there to hurt people, like they say in the book. But there are things you don't violate from a villain policy, and so that's what all these D-list villains are upholding is this code. And you have a vigilante that finally, you know, it's the Batman archetype. Batman's never going to kill. Well, you know, something finally drove him to kill, and so they do a great job of turning all these things just on their head. And the thing that you find out again is there's a traitor in the midst, and I'm like, all right, cool. Let's see if they twist this as well. And then you find out like, no, just I was down on my luck. The bad guy said he was going to take care of me, and of course, you know, it's a villain who is no longer one of the greats. He's lost, you know, everything. But I'm going to trust the worst villain, the Joker. It's like no one trusts the Joker. You always have a plan B, C, D to deal with the Joker because you know he's going to double cross you at some point. But yeah, that's the thing that didn't sit well with me. What did sit well with me is Sideswipe getting the coolest death, I think, in the entire book, just in my opinion. But yeah, that's the part that I struggled with here towards the end is, well, no, just everything's going to go wrong, and, you know, it'll be all right in the end, but
I also think it serves like to be the most dramatic kind of conclusion is that the guy, like, this book is about the ending of one era and the beginning of another. It's about like the old ways versus the new ways, and the one sympathetic character that we have that we were convinced was the safest was the one who was going to betray us all along. Which I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see coming. Like, I don't think that there was that much foreshadowing ahead of this issue specifically that would lead to that conclusion, especially because he's the one that's like, no, we can trust her, no, we can trust him, when they're having that like moment where they're all at each other's throats. But also he's the one where we don't get any backstory on until this issue. So that is also like, you know, one of the great magic tricks, you know, like close-up magic is about making you focus on one thing while the magician's, you know, pulling your card out in another hand, right? That's exactly what he's doing at the beginning of this issue. He's waving this thing in your face so you're paying attention to it, but you're not paying attention in the way that you should be to catch this from coming, like, at you, which I think is very good writing. But again, if we knew we were going to get to this point, like, we don't have a lot of moments throughout the story where we're sowing the seeds of distrust. We get a little bit of it with like Stick Boy, the Stick Boy scar on Snake Stalker's neck, and they have that back and forth. But other than that, like, you would think with these villains, like, they would be at each other's throats more often through the story, when they seem to work really well together and work against each other, seemingly when it's most convenient. Which I think, like, again, might have been a pacing issue, because if you had given them a little bit more time to spend together, those actual conflicts of interest and personality could have been like fully fleshed out in a way that like would have been a little bit more interesting. So you would actually be sitting there going, well, he could have done it or she could have done it. Who's the one that could have actually like betrayed this person?
Right.
Like I wonder if it's like maybe a deadline issue, or maybe they were only able to get 4 issues available or something. You know what I mean? So
they were likely
packing
just
it.
approved for 4.
They were just approved for 4. So that's why I think it could have been paced better. Maybe they planned it out for more, but they only got 4. So they're just like, all right, let's jam pack everything. Let's try and like cut out the fat as much as we can and make it work for 4 issues. You know, which is what's happens with comics basically a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a safe bet by Dark Horse.
Especially with name recognition, like someone like Patton Oswalt. They definitely hinged their bet. You know, Patton wasn't a established comic book writer, like you were saying at this point. So it's like, give him 4 issues, and if it sells really well, then hey, we'll look at another project idea.
Yeah, and I hope that this did really well. Again, no one knows sales numbers about comics. That's like a whole other conversation. But like, Dark Horse, I mean, they like the 4 big issue format. Like that's what they did for Godzilla, the Andrew McLean book,
right.
with Jake doing the interiors. That's just 4 big issues.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like, odds are you can definitely convince people to buy into 4 issues of something. I mean, like most Black Label books are 4 issues.
Right.
It's just a
They're
safe
starting to
number
3 now. Just to tell, it's 3 issues, tell the story, get out. So
I mean, also with like a lot of that stuff too, it's like people are buying it for the name. Like especially Godzilla, there's a whole shitload of people that are like, "Oh my god, Godzilla!" So they're gonna like buy every single Godzilla book there is, or every single Batman book there is. So yeah, I think this experiment with minor threats, I think that's you don't have all those characters, you don't have Batman and stuff in there, so it's not like someone can follow the characters at that point yet. Maybe in a few years when they keep growing it. But
yeah, and I think that like proving that you can do something really well in 4 issues will entice Dark Horse to be like, all right, well, let's do it again. Like do it again, and basically until it stops making money. So I have high hopes for the
best
future.
death in the book, Kev. Best death in the book. When you've got old Sideswipe here that doesn't know to close a portal, and well, get out of the portal before it closes, and Stickman just showing how much of a real, does not care, a loss of life, like walks over to Sideswipe's body, like picks it up. You got any mojo left? And again, it just
that's
goes
like one of my favorites.
just Scott's ability to do that. But oh yeah. Got any mojo left, Swipey? Alakazam! Nah, worth a shot. And then just tosses the half a body aside. So nonchalant, it's fantastic.
And yeah, the nano soldiers disarming the bombs inside their bodies is just hysterical. But again, this is part of that pacing where it's like we get this turn, this twist, and then how'd that happen? And she's like, oh, neat little button on it, like clean the hands, like we did this all. This was all a secret plan. Ha ha ha, got you. Which like you can rationalize in like brain teases, like fucking master plan that he's able to see the 5 chess moves ahead or whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
But like overall, like I don't know, it's just the ending. Endings are hard in comics because we don't often get them. And so kind of wrapping everything up in a matter of like 6 pages is fast.
Right.
Oh, well, it's actually, now that I'm kind of flipping through it, it doesn't feel as off. Maybe it's just that moment. But
I think they do it. I think they wrap it up well. It doesn't feel. Gosh, you keep talking about page economy. There's so many times where Scott has to really just pile the detail in, but I feel like he crammed a bunch in at the beginning, so the end of the issue can really breathe, showing the final confrontation with Stickman and Insomniac and just Pigeon Pete. Even though Pigeon Pete is a jerk, he does care about Playtime or Frankie, so he tries to stick up for her, doesn't do a great job. Like he has, most of the. Just once again, he can understand pigeons. He doesn't have much of a power set that's gonna help him.
Well, it's like once he had a valuable power set, and then like phones came out. Everyone had a cell phone and the internet.
Right. Yeah.
You didn't need carrier pigeons, but one day we'll need carrier pigeons again. That's my prediction for the future. Hopefully, I'm not alive for that. But yeah, and again, but like going back into the speed at which things like Kid Dusk or Stickman's like, I'm coming back, I got my hammer, and then boom, the car. Like it's just the convenience of it all is kind of crazy.
It is Pigeon Pete. The car does fly, even though that's I think just
for some expressive.
It's still just a car, but
yeah.
Right. But you're asking if his body was rock just from the way we've seen it, and discussing whether or not it's burns or if his skin is really just that thick, and we find out here it's just skin. So
it's just squishy.
It's squishy.
And talk about a hammer just being a great weapon for a villain to have. Like the smashes you get off this hammer are so sick. Crack. Hitting brain teas in the brain helmet. And then smashing people. Like this one got me. Snake Stalker with the claw of the hammer stuck in his eye.
Oh.
Brock, what up? You got back from book club. Now you're sitting in your other book club, comic book.
That's right.
Oh, what's up, Brock?
Breathing with your mouth, or reading with your breathing mouth.
One of these days, we're gonna get it down.
Breeding
with your mouth.
Reading your breeding with breathing.
Your breeding mouth.
No, you went over World Tree. Nice. World Tree's been something people are telling me I should be on right now, but I have not read any World Tree. Is that Tynion? James Tynion the Fourth?
I think so. That listening to James' podcast, that was one of the things that they brought up was World Tree.
Nice. It is Tynion.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
He's a machine.
The busiest man in comics, man. He's got Something Is Killing the Children. Is he also doing Nice House on the Lake? Is that him too?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, Nice House on the Lake and the Dracula book. And he also runs his own publishing house studio, Tiny Onion, and he's got his Substack and his podcasts. He's also in the gym every day. He's lost a ton of weight. He's looking hot as fuck now.
He's looking hot as fuck.
Nice House is over. See, I haven't read a single issue of that book. That's on.
I'll give you my trade next time I see you, Kev.
Nice. It's got a few, right? It got 30 issues or something.
Yeah, he's got a few. I got the first one. I just finished that, so I need to go get the second.
Nice. See, this is why I need to keep up with things.
Same.
I don't know. Again, it's so good. But we get Insomniac here before we get too derailed.
Yeah, Insomniac is standing over.
Here's the dinosaur coming up, Manny, because you were saying there's a dinosaur in there, right? And I was like, yeah, I was fairly certain. But yeah, we get to see the dinosaur in one of the treasure cases. Okay. Along with something else that's really important, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
I also love that Insomniac. Oh, we are reading Minor Threats. Patton Oswalt's book that he wrote with Jordan Bloom had Scott Hepburn on the art. This book rules. To catch you up, the TLDR is basically it's a bunch of C-list villains, villain of the week people from Silver Age kind of, but the Joker equivalent in this universe kills the Robin equivalent of this universe, and Batman is on a murderous spree. Except Batman is called Insomniac in this book, and so this team of C-listers gets together and they're like, we're gonna catch Stickman and kill him before Batman does, so we can collect the bounty and kind of restore order to the criminal underworld. And all the while, the Justice League, aka the Continuum in this book, are like hunting down all of the street level criminals and C-listers, trying to save them from Batman's wrath. And it's just great. The world building is great. The art is sick. The trade is out. That's what we're reading. Got 4 issues last year. I also recommend there's a side story that takes place in the same universe that's coming out currently. Issue 2 just dropped, called The Alternates. You can probably catch that over at Acme. Yeah, Patton Oswalt crushed it. This is a fun ass book. Wait, where's the dinosaur? I've missed the dinosaur this far.
Yeah, you're right there. So Playtime crashes into the trophy case, and the dinosaur is it. Well, it looks like a
It could
dinosaur
be a
rhino head, or
okay, I see what you're saying.
yeah.
I got you now. All right.
yeah.
I was like, where is this? So I was like looking at all the pages. They're like, oh,
No.
there. Okay.
You got like the well. So it's funny. The restaurant they go to is that Bite Burger or whatever it was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you've got the Bite Burger head in the trophy
Yeah.
case.
Oh my god, that is the Bite Burger head. Yeah. Mayor McCheese right there.
Yeah.
Mayor McDeath.
Yeah.
Got like a American,
Mayor McBite.
like the Captain America kind of shield thing in there too.
Oh
Just a
yeah,
bunch of-
dude. There's so much cool stuff.
bunch
Oh
of stuff.
damn! I forgot that Snake Stalker gets his neck cracked.
Yeah.
He does.
Sad death. Great fight sequence. I love the animation going on where he's flipping over him like this here in this panel. That is rad.
Yeah.
Um,
He just
And then gets the
takes
next
that
snap.
broken arm. He's just like, I don't care.
Oh, dude.
and then yeah, the old ways work just fine. Playtime's over. Boom. I love this panel or this page. What a good death sequence. Ba-boom.
And the colors, man, so good. Really
Yeah.
intense. Super. They just know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, and I mean, making it the glove, the boxing glove
Yeah.
gun is just so fun. You get a little Joker
So
kind of homage, but also it just reminds me of the Green Arrows,
Yeah.
boxing glove arrows that are just so stupid and so amazing from the Silver Age.
Always so massive.
Yeah.
It's like they don't fit in there at all, but you know.
There was a guy on YouTube who tried making those arrows and firing them. He was like an archer, and he tried to like make that work, and it just like couldn't fire out of a bow, which I think is so funny.
Only
we
in
get our
comics.
yeah, only in comics. We get our wrap up with the Frank Miller-esque news panels. Wrapping up everything that's happened. I love this whole montage. The bloody glove gun
Oh yeah.
on the shelf. That smile with the baby girl.
Yeah.
Again,
And then-
all the foreshadowing from the beginning, right? This is the one piece that was missing from Mom's trophy case. So
That's great.
The Continuum and I came to an understanding. We ain't we anymore. And then he's exiled, using the code to punish him. The man who lived by the code, he's now dying by the code. And by dying, I mean just ruining his life. And she gets her daughter back. Like, I love this ending. So sweet. And then she's just on her warpath, on her rampage. Yeah. I'm the bad bitch who runs Redport. Oh, okay, what's the message? You are. Fucking awesome. Never the end. It's a great way to end a comic book. And also, how the hell did they get Mike Mignola
oh
to do a
dude,
cover?
Right.
Dude?
Yeah.
What?
awesome.
What?
Dave Stewart coloring it too. That's great.
I mean, they got some real rock stars on the covers. Francesco Francavilla with this Stickman cover here.
Christian Ward
Oh.
doing that.
Christian Ward did so much when it came to what the champions, when they were doing like the Young Avengers. I remember
Oh.
a ton of Christian Ward covers for Young Avengers.
He's awesome.
Tess Fowler. This one is amazing.
Oh yeah, the chess one with all the different villain masks hanging over the bar, and
This definitely
Dude,
reminds me of Ryan Oakley's work too, like how she does her
Yes.
like watercolors and stuff.
shout out to Ryan.
Shout out to Ryan Oakley.
Go check her out.
Ryan Oakley art on Instagram. Mad talented artist, friend of the show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, big fans. Overall,
Dude,
I
and
mean,
then, as an artist, the sketch stuff in the back. Oh my gosh.
Dude, love it.
we love
I
some
love
good
stuff.
back matter.
She's just playing
Oh, and-
around.
Kev, not only was I wrong about Kill Pig's name, and you corrected me about Kill Pig, but it's not just Kill Pig. It is Prince Kill
Pig.
Prince Kill
no
Pig.
respect to the royalty.
Yeah, he's got royal blood in him, so.
I love
some
the
respect on
hand,
his
like
name.
his fist, his little nubby fist that he's got going on. Like,
Yeah, very much like, what's the Ninja Turtles guy? Rocksteady?
yeah, Rocksteady.
Bebop.
Bebop.
Oh, shit.
Bebop.
Both wrong. Whoops.
In my
Bebop's
head,
the
they're
big-
just Bebop and Rocksteady. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? I don't separate the two. Yeah, this book, I mean, overall, y'all, we had some, qualms with pacing, but I would not let that detract you from reading this book. I think it is so much fun. It's very refreshing. It's incredibly well done on so many levels,
Yeah.
from the writing to the art to the coloring to the lettering. Yeah, aside from some funky pacing, I really don't have any complaints. I had an absolute blast reading this book, and would recommend it to to pretty much anybody.
Yeah, it's a good
Manny.
good dive in there too. It's definitely a book you can just like hand to somebody and be like, you don't need to read like 300 issues to know what's going on in here. This is it.
Yeah.
Does it have
Manny,
a 1 on it?
I'm
It
a-
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you
Yep.
go.
I am a moron. Remind me in the top corner, wherever you always see the little, it's got the company logo.
Yeah,
that
what are those
was-
called?
Remind me what that's called.
Oh man.
It's not
That's a good
head
question.
squares, is it?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Face.
So typically, you get your publisher logo up there in the corner.
Yeah.
What I love about this book, so it's a
Every
limited
issue,
run,
yeah.
but every issue has a different publisher block, and it's the same minor villains, the minor threats that are in there, but each one relates specifically to the story that's being told. So, you get the first one where they all look fine. The second one is when they're going to get, kind of beat up a little bit, so they're all bloodied. You get the one when they go through the time warp,
Yeah, the
where they're
time
all
warp.
like cartoony looking. And then the last issue where it's like, a lot of death going on, they're all skull version. They're all like completely withered away in skulls. So that, again, I feel like Scott took advantage of everything he could from his creative perspective to just say, I'm gonna just go whole ham. So I hope he had a blast doing it. I had a blast reading this. We were talking about this as an entire universe made up with its own characters, and a lot of people, like Invincible, is very popular now with the animated series and everything that's going on. But Invincible is tens, 50s of it. I can't remember where did they end?
Well, they're at like what, 3 like compendium omnibus sized books now? 4?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, it's
there's a
crazy.
lot of compendium stuff. I don't even know how many issues or whatever. I've never read it, so I don't know.
But if you guys are looking for a world that's creative, fun, but instead of focusing on the heroes, you're focusing on the villains. Like, I'm so glad, Kev, that you said, hey, let's cover minor threats. This is super enjoyable. Like we were saying, it's one trade. Like, you can go get the trade now. It was 4 singles, and now they're doing the alternates, which is on issue 2 right now. So if you're, up for jumping into a Patton Oswalt, Jordan Bloom book, go check out the alternates. I have the first 2 issues. I have not read them yet, but knowing that they are direct tie-in to Minor Threats, I'm like, oh my gosh, those are they move to the very top of the stack.
Oh yeah.
I also will seek out pretty much anything that Scott Hepburn has drawn now, because this is my first book exposure to him, and this was fantastic. I'm so impressed by his art. I also just like one kind of something I was thinking about as we were talking about this is it's very interesting that we did this as the book following up Kingdom Come, because like I draw a lot of parallels in terms of some of the commentary that it's like trying to make with that transition from Silver Age to gritty 80s, and like the different approaches, because like while Kingdom Come is very much like condemning 80s and 90s comics, like this book is like celebrating both. It's like, no, we love the corny Silver Age, but we also love people are dying Frank Miller comics.
Yeah.
Like I love that juxtaposition, and how like you can have commentary on the like history and landscape of comics, but not be overly critical and in fact be celebratory about that shift, I think, and like playing with it in a very funny way, because this book is gritty. Like there is a lot of pulpy Frank Miller stuff in here, but I would say it like skews on the side of silly most of the time in a way that doesn't feel like it's taking the piss at anything, which I really like about it.
Yeah.
Like it's funny, but it's not silly.
Yeah, it's like tastefully done with the amount of silly that's in this book. It's not like, it's not like slapstick comedy or anything. It's just, it's good panels, good jokes going on in the backgrounds and stuff, and I don't know, good vibes, just good vibes all around. Giving them a hand, everyone, give them a hand, please. Yeah, there we go.
Oh my god, dude! I just realized. So you were talking about Patton Oswalt doing the MODOK miniseries head games. So it looks like Scott did all the art for that. So it looks like I will be buying the MODOK miniseries that they did, because holy smokes.
Yeah, I want to find what else has Scott Hepburn done.
So it looks like, because I was trying to figure that out as well. He does a great job of sharing his art, just not of like saying this is a project I'm working on, which, I think that's a downfall of a lot of artists, Manny, and myself included. We're just like, look at this cool thing I drew.
Forget about it.
I'm following him right now.
But I was trying to find.
Let's see. He did some Teen Titans. Did some Detective Comics. He was on Forever Evil, the New 52 thing. He did some covers. Let's see what he did for Marvel. He did some Thor, it looks like, with Jason Aaron's run. He did some Deadpool and Cable.
Yeah, he did Deadpool
Gwenpool stuff he did.
Oh, he did some of the issues in Carnage, Black, White, and Blood.
Ooh.
Oh, he did Revenge of the Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Heck yeah. I will definitely be throwing down on this stuff for sure.
I got a original art of his. Like, I don't have original art of his. I have it pulled up on my computer, and I see like one Ghost Rider page with a whole bunch of like crazy monsters and stuff in the background, and it looks fantastic. Super cool. He's definitely.
Ooh. I just saw a post on his Instagram. For supervillain Frankie Fawless, playtime has just begun. The next chapter of the Minor Threats crime saga returns in spring 2024.
How about that? Here we go.
So huge recommend. Yeah. Thank you, Kev, for telling us to read this. I'm
Right.
Oh my god.
You know, between Daniel Warren Johnson and Scott Hepburn, I've got lots of German suplex references now.
Such a good dynamic action to put in a comic panel. Man, his Instagram is sick. Holy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Y'all, any closing thoughts we want to share about Minor Threats?
To get it.
Yeah.
Up.
Go pick it up there. Yeah. Go
Go pick it up and go read the alternates. Get ready for volume 2. I'm putting those issues in my pull list.
Yes, sir.
I'm a guy with a pull list now. I'm
That's
just gonna
right.
do that mostly because I'm too dumb to remember to go buy things at the comic book store. So if I just see things and just call the store and be like, put this in my box,
Right. Yeah.
then I'll actually read the things I want to read and not have to pick up scattered issues and go, damn it, I missed issues 2 and 4. So I'm just gonna wait for the trade.
Yep. That's
Y'all, as always, thanks for hanging out. We will always put this reminder in the video. Go to your goddamn local comic book store. Go talk to the people behind the counter. They got good recommendations. Go see what's on the racks. Go figure stuff out. Go explore. Go touch grass and see real people in real life. Hanging out on the internet with us is fun. We're always here for you because we love you, but you can easily find us at the comic book store and talk our ears off. You can find us at cons, talk our ears off. Yeah, read more comics, make more art, write more stories, do cool shit, because comics are for the people. And you're the people. If you're listening to this right now, you are in fact the people.
right.
So read comics, make comics,
Yeah.
love
we want to
comics,
read them.
eat comics, breathe comics,
Breathe them out. Breathe
sleep
on 'em,
comics.
touch them. Make them. Do them. It'll be great.
All right.
Yeah. Do what Manny said. Do them. Do them.
Yeah.
Do the
it.
comic.
Do it. Do it.
Do it.
And go read Time Police.
Yeah,
go
go
read
read Time Police. Go read Renown.
Go-
Join our Discord.
Go buy
If you want
Renown.
to catch more of these videos, if this is your first time watching this, listening to this, go to the YouTube channel. Catch all the other ones. They're on there. Go to Manny's YouTube channel. Watch his drawing streams.
Yeah. John right
Follow
now.
the Mouth Breathers Guild on Instagram. Mouth Breathers Guild LLC. Follow me, Kiwi Spicy, on Instagram at Kiwi Spicy. Follow Manny at The Manny Draws. Follow Ben at Ben_Hill_art. Got the thumbs up. Hell yeah. Let's go, y'all. Have a great evening. I'm tired.
Later, y'all.
Later, bro.
All right. My stream is done.
I still
Brock said at the last second, follow these men or I will suck your toes.
Oh, Manny, you wanted to see the stash. I'll take you upstairs before I sign off and go draw.
Oh, nice.
To show you the stash.
Yes, please.
Oh my god, more video games layoffs.
Yep.
What?
So
What
Sony
now?
laid off like 900 people. EA just announced that they're cutting 5% of their workforce.
That's ridiculous.
Dude,
It's
that's
happening,
depressing.
guys. It's funny how it's like right after AI, is a thing, and
yeah.
animation, 3D modeling, concept art. It's.
Oh yeah,
Not
Ben.
weird at all.
We got some. Names for the anthology we want to run past you. See what you liked.
Oh, for the Western?
Yeah. So we were thinking about things that would just be the name of the ongoing rather than specifically for the westerns. So whatever we do, we just kind of keep calling it different names. So what we've got is there are a lot of puns. We've got Mouthbound Tales. We've got Mouths of Madness. We've got Motor Mouth. We've got Tales from the Mouth. We've got The Deep Mouth. North to Mouth. Mouthology. Mouths of Glory. And All You Can Eat.
Oh my gosh. Dude, I almost like All You Can Eat, a Mouth Breathers anthology.
Yeah, that is nice.
Yeah, Mouth Breathers Guild presents All You Can Eat, an anthology series.
Dude, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I apologize because it is not the cleanest in here.
Dude,
It is still my tiny closet, so
how dare you?
I know.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, you knew I was gonna. You knew. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I mean, how do I flip my camera? There we go. Flip camera. There.
Holy crap.
Oh,
So, let's
Look
see.
at all those boxes.
Yeah. Those are boxes. Those are shoes. Hey, I have a
Yes.
How to Draw book.
Do you have it organized at all?
So let's see. This right here is all. Wait, where's my finger? There we go. There's my finger. So this box and those three are all kind of like current polls and stuff that I'm reading right now. So then starting at this box, that's numerical, starting at 0. And then this is A's, parts A and B, because that's a Battle Chasers book right there.
Dang.
So then continuing alphabetically from B all the way down to Z in that bottom corner, hiding back there.
Dang.
Holy
So.
crap.
Yeah, I got one of those too.
But yeah, lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff.
But yeah,
Where's
so
this
if
room
you guys-
located? So we know when we go to your house where exactly. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
You
the
guys-
thing about comics is that you can't really steal them. Those boxes are huge and heavy as shit.
Is that a challenge?
There's some of them that are very weighty. I mean, you guys don't have to steal them if you're just like, hey, do you have this? I'm more than happy to let you borrow them.
But it's all about the rush.
Yeah, let's see.
All the
There's
manga?
some more manga up there on the top shelf.
Wow.
All the DBZ issues. Let's see. I think I showed this to you guys. I have all 10 volumes of something called Sakamoto Days.
Yeah, you told us about that a little bit. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's a former spy who opens a gets married and settles down and opens a convenience store and then gets pulled back into the spy game.
That's right. That's right.
So, very silly. But yeah,
So fun.
dude, let's see. Right here, so we were just talking about Nice House on the Lake.
Dang, that cover.
Oh,
is so
yeah.
good. Who did the cover?
So, I don't know, but they did all the covers, and they're all freaking gorgeous.
Yeah, they look like
Hand
royal
painted.
paintings.
Alvaro Martinez Bueno.
All
And
right.
trust me, those are bueno.
Trust me.
Muchos buenos.
Muchos buenos. Yeah. So, Manny, why'd you buy this book?
Why'd I buy that book? Because I wanted to get better at drawing vehicles and everything.
Okay.
And then
I bought
went,
that
like,
book because Daniel Warren Johnson told me to buy it.
Oh yeah, that's been that's like a recommended book for a lot of like concept artists. What's his name? Scott that made that book. It's forgetting his name, but he's everyone respects that man for his like vehicle design of all types, like airplanes, cars.
Scott Robertson.
Scott Robertson, yeah.
Whoa.
Dang.
That's my only graded book. It was the first comic book that was ever purchased for me. So,
Yeah.
although it's a lie, it's actually a repurchase of the first comic book ever bought for me. Because the first comic book ever bought for me has been destroyed.
Yeah.
Tore the cover off, like wore the binding out. So, all the pages, the staples pretty much came through.
Dang. Tore it up, man.
trying to think. Yeah. So again, you guys are like, hey, do you got this run? Just let me know. Let me know. I did finally pick up. So talking about like DC Black Label, I did buy all the Batman like City of Madness stuff. So I've got all 3 issues of that in that large format Black Label.
Oh,
The covers are gorgeous. The inside's okay. So
Christian Ward.
Yeah, he looks.
covers are pretty.
He's awesome.
Oh, damn it, Manny. Did you hear this news that EA canceled Respawn's first-person Mandalorian game?
I didn't even know that was gonna be a game, to be honest.
I didn't either, but I'd buy it.
Right.
I hope they don't cancel fucking Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah. Every time I see like a crazy Star Wars game, I'm like, it's gonna be canceled. 'Cause that's like the curse of Star Wars games. So
Very valid.
just like, yeah, we'll see.
Oh yeah,
if we can
Manny.
see that. What's up?
I'm just looking at the Mouth Breathers Instagram page, and I think I found every board game page and unfollowed all of them, and now it's just comic book creators on there that I'm following. There's also a bunch of Christians friends. I feel bad, but I was like, yeah, I don't care about these people. You know who like watches and likes almost every one of our posts?
Who?
Who's that?
Your mom.
My mom?
Your mom, yeah.
Your mom.
Love my mom. My mom's great.
It just reminds
You guys, you boys need to come over sometime. We'll have to do like a comic book reading party.
Yeah, man.
I've got all kinds of bourbon. I like making spiced mules with rum, so
Oh,
Hell yeah.
plenty of drinky treats.
okay.
Nice.
Okay.
I'm into it.
Yeah, I like that. I like drinks.
So
I like treats.
what we doing next week? And we need to let Sam know because I know Sam. I think we left him off the minor threats updates. I don't think he had a chance to read it.
He's like camping right now anyway, so
He's like legit camping.
yeah.
I think so. He's out and about with his dog, with his new dog, and the fam.
Well, number one, that's bullshit because he needs to be finishing that Murder Falcon shit. Dude, I wish I had that skill. That is amazing.
Hey man, I was in the same drawing workshop as Sam, and then like a year later he picked up 3D modeling and just like ran with it basically. He leveled up so fast when he was learning that.
It's awesome.
Because I mean, he definitely had the fundamentals and stuff for drawing, and then he just went into 3D modeling and was like, "Yeah, this is my thing." So, which is super cool. He loves it. I'm happy for him.
I'm
He was talking
looking.
about like falling out of love with drawing, so I'm glad he found sculpting.
Yeah. That was a conversation him and I would have a lot, and you know, I was just like, oh, you know, it's like that sometimes. But,
I'm looking
What were you gonna
at-
say, Kev?
Well, I'm just looking at our like list of books that we had thrown on here.
you guys are able to edit it now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did pick up. We've all got Full Circle now, right?
Full circle?
With the Fantastic Four.
Oh yeah, the Alex Ross Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
We could do that. Let's see. There's just looking at the ones I know we all have. We could do part 1 of Luther Strode.
Oh.
We could do a power bomb.
I'd say Luther Strode. Let's go with that one.
Yeah, just the first part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And I may or may not be able to jump on for the whole stream next week.
Well, how long is the first part? Is it just like the first like issue or 2 issues or something? Or
I can't. Did they do 6-parters when they did each run?
I don't know.
Oh, I'll be right back. Let me grab my fat volume.
I know it's chunky, but
Yeah. Because I'd like to just do the Strange Tale, because the Strange Tale is part 1.
oh, okay, yeah.
Because there's Strange Tale, there's Legend, and then there's Legacy.
Yeah, it's been a while since I read it, so.
That's because, honestly, Strange Tale is it Strange Tale or Strange World? Strange Tale, I think is what it is. Strange Tale's good. Like, I think we were talking about it. That was the first, like, official book that Trad did.
Yeah, right out of Scab.
And, yeah.
It's crazy.
And you can definitely feel it, like, through most of the book, as he's trying to find his artistic footing.
Yeah.
But by the time freaking Legend rolls around and he's fighting Jack the Ripper and shit,
It's awesome.
taking out the SWAT team, freaking
Dude.
amazing.
I mean, even the openings of that book are so good. So freaking good.
Oh,
So I don't think it's broken up, but there's 16 chapters total.
so 16. You can't divide 16 by 30.
We can do it by 4 and do 4 chapters at a time.
Does that work though with the books, or with the way it's broke out in the series? Are you able to share your?
I just dismantled my whole camera setup.
Well, just from whatever you're streaming on or putting Discord out on.
Hold on.
Because I'm fine not having a ton to say. Oh, sorry, I'm just gonna make a shit ton of noise shaking. I'm fine not having a ton to say about like the first half, because the first half is just world building. I feel like.
Yeah.
But yeah, because this is all Strange Tale. God, Petra's so fucking hot. Because you get all the way to where he quote unquote dies, like his friend dies, his mom dies.
Right.
There's so much death in the first.
This is the first 5 or 6 issues.
See, I think it's 6. I think they did 6, 6, and 6, which is fun because again,
Right.
plays off of the 666 blood guts.
It's so good.
Okay, yeah. So,
Yeah, Legend. Oh God.
So do everything up to Legend.
Yes,
That is
dude, Legends.
150 pages of comics.
That's amazing. Well, it's again, that's the whole. If you're gonna buy the trade, like Strange Tale is one trade, Legend is another trade, Legacy is the last.
Gotcha.
Okay. Okay.
Or do we want to choose another one if you're not going to be on for the whole thing?
I don't care.
You
Like I said, like Strange Tale is not. It's okay. I honestly, I got turned on to Luther Strode with Legend, and bought every single for Legend. And then before Legacy came out, I was like, oh, there's a like beginning of all this. So I went and bought the trade for Strange Tale. And Strange Tale's fun. Again, it's just all world building and the stupid book of Atlas to like train your body, which it's fun. It's like the One Punch Man concept,
right?
where
Yeah.
it's like I
Some
did
basic workouts.
100 push-ups,
Yeah.
100 sit-ups, 100 squats. I think it's so ridiculous, but fun. It is fun to just also see Trad again find his feet and visual storytelling.
Yeah.
What else we got? We got
I mean, we all got Apocalyptic Girl, right?
yeah.
Oh
That's
yeah.
pretty short.
Yeah, we all have Apocalyptic Girl. We all have Do a Power Bomb.
I want to make sure I'm home for Do a Power Bomb instead of I'll be in a hotel, so that's why I worry like if I'll be able to be on for super long.
Okay, got you.
Well then we can. Let's see. Manny, what's something you and I both have? There's The Last Ronin.
I don't have that book actually.
Oh, okay. There's we can do one of the Grand Designs.
Yeah, that sounds good.
We can do one of the volumes of Extremity.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
we're all Daniel Warren Johnson fans. We gotta have Ben on there for that too.
Yeah.
Let's see what else is there. What do we both have?
You guys could do what is it? When in Rome or not? When in Rome? The other
The Catwoman book, Lonely City.
Yeah.
Only City. That was it.
Okay, I'm about that.
Yeah.
Cool with me.
Yep.
I plan on trying to make it over to Acme on Saturday, so I'll see if they've got to have a copy of that too. So I'll see if I can pick it up, and if I can jump on, great. But like I said, we'll be on our way. We'll be in Georgia or maybe in South Carolina on our way back home. So I don't want to say, yep, wait on me. I'll try to be on at 8:30, but definitely start if I'm not on at 8:30, and I'll try to jump on and if I can.
All right. Sounds good, man. No worries. No worries.
Dude, my plan is to do it. My plan is to do it. I like this stuff. This is having you guys around to talk comic books is awesome.
You said you have some ideas for promotion that you wanted to talk about?
I do. Wait, I do? I do.
You said that in the general chat, I think.
Oh yeah. We're always sitting here talking about like what books do we review, and we definitely have a list. But if we can get people to submit a suggestion, that we're just gonna for 1 week open it up to all suggestions from people, share the post with others. Like, let's have a conversation about some of our favorite comic book stories. That the only caveat would need to be in trade, and currently in print. So, but I was just thinking if we could find some way to get more people to spread the word and say like, oh, we're gonna talk about your favorite books. So give us this one, and we're gonna cover it on this specific date. So I think that would be something we'd have to nail down and say like, this is a listener review. What else was it?
I'm also gonna start doing. I just need to get my shit together for these. But doing TikToks of like the books we talk about, and basically be like, in a minute, like, this book rocks. Here's why. If you want to hear an in-depth, go here.
Right.
Yeah.
Damn it. It was one of those things where I should have wrote it down, because I was also thinking of promotional ideas for Time Police. And so for like Time Police, I was looking at doing a poll to say like, here are the characters from Time Police, and putting their names in like a police lineup style, and then saying, vote on these. So I don't know if that. So instead of just leaving it wide open, we could also do a poll like, we're gonna do a series. So something like Luther Strode, something like I don't trying to keep it simple, right? Like a Batman series that we could say we'll do Court of Owls because it's like what, 2 trades, or giving them some options and then having them vote on the poll, share it around. Just trying to think of different ways to get people engaged.
Oh yeah, you know what we need to do is a White Knight.
Yeah, White Knight.
Yeah.
Things like that. That would be, I don't know. Just trying to think of how we can get this out there more. And maybe like doing something with Acme, like with Ben or with Austin, or just having those guys jump on for one to talk about a specific book.
Hell, even Jermaine.
Yeah. Oh my God. Having the encyclopedic knowledge of Jermaine jumping on here.
You know what we should have Jermaine on to talk about is Void Rivals is when that trade drops.
Oh, that's a good idea. Especially since he pimped that hardcore on you.
Yeah, well, basically just ask him like, hey, you told me this was the biggest thing happening in comic books right now. Why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's right. It's fucking awesome. Void Rivals is the weakest of the Energon books, but it's still good.
And I feel like it's the weakest because it is kind of building its own world.
It's taking its time.
Yeah, it's that microcosm where it's really just focused on those 2 characters and their interactions, and you see some ties to things, but nothing where you're like, oh my gosh, how's that gonna actually fit into everything else that's going on? It's like, it's not.
It's not.
It's not. No. It's like, oh, there's Cybertron. Cool. Well, and what's the one, he's like the good Autobot plane. Like he's in an issue.
Jetfire,
yeah.
Jetfire.
So it's like, well, I guess from a timing perspective, you can kind of see, he was there before he shows up in the Transformers books, but there's no, it's not like a direct tie into everything, which I think is a real shame.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Come here. Boom. So this is something that I wanted to. Again, I forgot to bring so much, or I would have just brought half of my library with me. Let me turn that on. This thing. I think it had a slipcover at one point, so I was really sad. But
hold on, what are we? Yeah, look at my Discord.
this is Paul Pope's Pulp Pope.
Paul Pope.
It is like just his straight up art book. So it is just,
dude, the
like
design.
him talking about
So good.
process and doing weird ass sketches and stuff and live drawings, and
He's
like
the
he
man.
does this weird little mini comic with this elephant with a pin. Like, I have no idea. He does real weird crap in here, and it's just fun to see where he goes.
I love Paul Pope.
So
What a guy.
yeah, next time I see you guys, I'll bring this with me so you guys can flip through it. But yeah, like some weird stink bug or beetle or something. He's just drawing. It's so weird.
I love how he's just like not afraid to do anything, man. He just like goes super simple like that, and then he can go more intricate with faces, and then there's him basically doing a self-portrait.
Yeah.
His brushwork is fantastic. So
Oh,
loose.
gosh. Yeah, this is like his weird style for drawing masks that I love. Whenever there's a mask, like he doesn't draw a person's nose, but like really accentuates the lips.
Yeah.
So bizarre. Love it. Like working on weird poses for some Sasquatch looking thing. I don't know. Like it's just so fun and so bizarre. And of course, this is all in, I'm going to say, Spanish.
Yeah.
It looks like Spanish. It doesn't look like Portuguese. So, but yeah, so much fun. And dude, like hot pink backgrounds for these like little short stories, and then other short stories where like he's just playing with color and different ink washes, and like I don't know. This looks like a super old. There's no date on some of the stuff, so it drives me crazy. I'm like, I don't know if it's a kid's picture or if he drew it as a kid.
Right. I'm assuming it's him as a kid.
Batman chasing somebody and they just say stop, go. So no. So cool. So yeah, next time I'll have this with me. And if you guys like Frank Frazetta, like I have a couple of Frank Frazetta art books.
Oh yeah, I got his ink, the Living Legend. Like it's like an ink book of his, and it's pretty great. It's beautiful, absolutely stunning stuff.
Oh yeah, dude, I love his stuff. You get to see so many figures, like male and female.
Yeah.
But then, you know, if you guys just want to see straight up boobies, I'll bring my Frank Cho books. Because I've got Frank Cho books, and he's just like, yep, I want to just creep on women and draw like a bunch of nude women.
Oh yeah. Well, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm darn tired, boys. I think I'm gonna hit the hay.
All right, man.
All right, sir. Thanks, guys, for another awesome stream.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bob.
Peace and blessings.
Yeah, man. Till next time.
Sneezes and farts. That's right.
Yeah.
So you gonna jump back on your stream, or are you still streaming?
Oh, I've been streaming this whole time.
What? Oh my gosh.
This whole time, man. But I should probably see. Brock was on here, and Cybilly was on here. The AI video prompts are crazy. Hope the gaming industry isn't taking a hit from it this soon. Probably is, sadly.
Oh.
Probably is. That's my guess. Let's see what else Brock say. Make the books into comics, movies, graphic novels, or whatever. Just give me more Bane. Brock's a funny guy.
I know. I need to run into him in person.
He'll probably be there this weekend.
I hope so.
I just want to finish this page, and then I will allow myself to sleep.
I'm trying to get as much of this 2-page cover done as possible. This wrap around.
Oh, for the Time Police?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made a lot of good progress last night, but I feel like I'm only about 50% because I still need to add some spaceships. I just finished the signs, which I posted the progress of that one on the Discord.
in
Oh, you
Mouse
did?
Breathers Discord. But it was that Keanu and the Gaul one.
Oh yeah.
I've adjusted the colors a little bit now just to make it more in keeping with my color themes, but
Oh, that's funny. Jalen's gonna love that.
oh my gosh,
You
yeah.
gotta see that one, man.
Well, I mean, I was serious. People give me ideas, I'll work them in. It'll just be jokes for us, but the hell with it. That's half the fun.
Yeah.
We got a can of beans in one of them, so I do have a Godzilla and a Hypnotoad in another. So there's a lot there to just for our little group, small but mighty group of supporters.
That's right. Okay, almost there. Just need to.
You're almost there. Whoa, living on a prayer.
Fucking Bon Jovi. Almost there.
My phone's about dead. Thankfully, my tablet is not. So I'm not able to see what the screen's saying, if anything.
What was that?
I'm not able to see what the stream's saying, if anything.
Oh no.
I'm certain they don't want me to sing anymore, that's for sure.
No one's said anything yet.
Alright, good.
Yeah.
That's right, keep your comments to yourselves.
That's right.
Jeez. You think this is some kind of social media app where you can comment?
Nerds? No.
Nah, jeez. Everybody thinks they gotta say something.
Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got them.
And most of them stink.
That's right.
So how many pages do you have done are you working on the anthology?
Yeah, I'm working on the 3rd page right now. So I'm going to try and knock out a few more this weekend. Obviously, going to try and knock out one tomorrow. But yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, I got to, do the inking and then add the halftones and stuff. So, and then the lettering, of course. Can't forget the lettering.
No, can't forget that. That's important.
It's true. Who knew? Who knew?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What'd you do now?
I just heard you scratching away.
Oh,
Are you
That is the bad thing about streaming audio through the tablet that I'm working on.
Oh, you're working on that. Gotcha. I mean, it's fine. You're good.
Scritchy scratch. Hey, about that texture stuff for the screen, I do like the feeling on it,
The paper feel?
but yep,
Yeah, it's good.
but it does also add to the audio noise.
Yeah. Truth you speak, my guy.
Truth you speak.
I'm gonna wait a minute or two for the ink to dry so I'm not smearing it everywhere.
How much did you just put on the page?
I used a different, I used this other brush pen that I don't normally use, but I remember using it once before, with this ink that's inside it, and then, like, you know, I pressed my hand down, like, after a minute, and then it smeared the ink on it, so,
Whoa.
yeah, I put, like, a whole bunch of ink on gravestones and stuff, so I'm just, because my hand's gonna be on that. I just got one little section left on this page, and then it's pretty much done. I just don't want to smear anything, so I'll just wait a minute or two, and take a water break for now. But it's coming together. Page is coming together, my guy.
Yeah, brother. It's coming together, brother.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I ended up coming back home and was telling my wife we need to go talk to the people that own the textile mill and see if we can borrow some of that space again. Like I think it would be awesome. Have a little studio over there,
Oh, dude. Yeah.
just within walking distance.
Yeah, that'd be so cool. I know there was a place, I think, in, like, Chapel Hill, I think. Maybe not Chapel Hill, maybe it might have been a different part. But I passed by, like, a textile mill kind of thing, like, building. Like, it had textile on the building, and then it also had, like, a printing press on it and stuff. And, like, office supply store or whatever. But it didn't look like it was very, it didn't look like there was much going on in that building. And I was just wondering, like, I wonder what it would be like.
So hey, could we use that?
Right.
Make our own studio out of it? That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. That would be something.
I do know that just down towards downtown Pittsburgh, they have like one of those collaborative work spaces.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
hey, you don't have an office and you don't want to like work at home, so you can go try this out. And I was like, that might be interesting to try out. But then also those places, you're essentially either paying a membership or like renting time there. So it's like, here's the space, but you gotta pay for hanging out. And I'm like, I don't know that I want to do that. I'll just stay at home.
Right, yeah. I hear about those, like, comic artists sharing spaces with other creators. And it's just like people in the area, they all like get together and I guess rent out a space. Like I know, was it Francis Manipul? He rents out a place with somebody. I think it's like 2 other artists, or maybe it's just him and someone else.
That's cool.
I don't know where he's at. I feel like maybe Chicago, but I'm not entirely sure. Maybe he's somewhere else entirely. But yeah, he's just like in a super nice studio because he's got a family and stuff. So like he goes back home to his family or whatever. But having 2 spaces would be fantastic. Have a home and then have a studio away from home. It just like separates the moods. Would be a dream of mine, quite honestly.
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
Again, just more reason. Come down to Pittsburgh. You know, that's all. That's all.
Until Disney hikes up everything to be $1 million.
That's why I'm like, we need to jump on it, you know, sooner rather than later. Need to find that space, you know, get it all squared away before all that stuff hikes up the cost.
Before the Monopoly man comes and starts taking all your shares.
Old Monopoly Mickey.
Yeah.
Wearing his top hat.
Right. Oh, you better get up out of here, boy. Oh. Give me all your fucking money, huh?
Gosh, you need to pay your rent. We're gonna kick your ass out of here.
Right. Oh, would be a shame if you didn't pay the safety fee.
That's right.
Like they're
It's
like
a protection.
Right.
Mickey's protection racket.
They're like a mob boss now.
Why does it keep doing that? part of working digitally is supposed to make these things easier, but then when you're like, hey, I'm going to use this shortcut, and the shortcut doesn't work like it's supposed to, it's like, what's the point?
Yeah. I feel like I spend too much time on stuff when I go digital, you know, because I feel like I zoom in a lot more and like work on details that no one's gonna notice.
I mean, like individual signs.
Yeah. Whatever you're doing right now, that.
that specific thing. I think the one thing I do miss is I've got my pens set up to where they are somewhat similar to the way that like the ink pens feel.
Uh-huh.
But there's still just something that it feels similar but not the same. And I think sometimes I accomplish to where it's like, that looks like my line work if I were to just ink this normally. And then there are other times where I'm like, it just looks like I did it in Photoshop.
Yeah, like having your identity kind of show through in the mark making kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's can be hard to do, especially when the tools don't feel as natural as the tool that you're trying to mimic.
Yeah.
And like I would try and mimic like watercolors when I would color stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like my thing, right? That I enjoy. And then at a certain point I was like, why even mimic it when I could just paint it anyway? Like spend that extra minute or maybe even less time painting the thing, because it's not like I'm going super detailed in the painting. It's kind of just like throwing flat colors down and then giving it like a texture with the paint, you know. So
yeah,
at a certain point I was just like, why work digitally when I could just get the effect that I want immediately with watercolor. So that's why I did that little Carl book in watercolor. I was like, let me see if I could even handle doing a project in watercolor, and I'll make it like 8 or 12 pages. And then I did it, and I was like, I could do this in a bigger project for sure.
right.
One day.
One day.
One day. think that'll do it.
Nailed it. See, now I gotta play catch up. If you're done with page 3, that means you're caught up with me. So I'm gonna have to jump back on and get my page 4 and everything done. Thankfully, I feel like 6 and 7, I just need to really ink over the top of what I got. I need to fine line some of the faces and add some details to like the smaller panels, but
Yeah.
the 2-page splash is outlined pretty well.
Yeah. But like the majority of everything is pretty much done. Or like
I was gonna say you've nailed that. You've got everything already outlined. Now you just gotta ink. So when you're done, you're done.
Yeah, well, I gotta go back, letter it, and do the halftones and stuff. So not done, but pretty close.
You're gonna hand letter? You are a maniac.
No, I'm not gonna hand letter.
Okay, thank goodness. Because then you really made me feel like I was slacking.
I just got some like sound effects. Like sound effects, I'll do like hand lettering, but
Yeah.
the talky talk stuff, I'm gonna do that digitally because I'm pretty sure Kevin's gonna change some things. So
Gotcha. Yeah, no sense in doing all that work to just to be like, oh yeah, we gotta go back and edit this. And like, crap, dude.
right, yeah.
Right.
Like I'm not doing that.
Whiteout's my friend.
No sirree, Bob. I'm good.
Alright, well, I'm gonna scratchy scratch for a little bit longer and hopefully get this page closer to 75-80% done before I call it a night.
Before we call
It's
it
getting
a night.
close. Getting close.
Nice. Alright, man.
Alright, Manny.
Probably be on tomorrow, just scritchy scratching on here. So
Sounds good.
yeah.
If I catch you tomorrow, awesome, but we'll see. I know we've got my wife and I are going on that trip coming up, so we'll want to spend some time with the girls.
Oh
So I don't know what all we got planned, but if not, then I'll hit you up. You know, we are responsible parents. Both of them are in bed right now, so
yeah. Okay.
we're not too lenient where it's like, yeah, sure, stay up until midnight. You're only 7 and 13.
You're only 7 and 13. It's fine. Nothing bad ever happened with that. Yeah.
That's right. But all right, man. Have a good one, Manny. I'll talk to you soon.
You too, bro. See you.
Bye.
Alright. Well, thanks for joining, everybody. Much appreciated. And we'll be back on the morrow for another drawing session. Till next time, my friends.